the things we wanted to hold up was the UUA took part in a survey from Faith Communities Today out of Hartford Seminary. And they're just sort of emerging the reports from that. They're just starting to come out. The first report that Hartford Seminary came out with is by Kirk Hathaway, who, if any of you have used a variety, I think Abington Press, he's got several books out, and Alvin Institute. This was on facts on growth. And then also on, it's available online at the UUA website as a download, or you can right away to Hartford Seminary and get a hard copy like I'm showing. There are two other reports, Young Adults in UUA Congregations and Faith Communities Today, Unitarian Universalist Responses, that are both available on the UUA website as well. And it's sort of intriguing to me as I was looking at Kirk's, he's got several different sections, but he's got one that talks about the character of congregational worship. And it compares some of it to congregations that are growing. And what does worship feel like? What does worship look like? And you know, always those. And you know, we look at things like drums, percussion, and growth. 58% of those congregations that always use drums, percussion, and drums and percussion are growing. Only 23% of those that never use them are growing. And you know, how many UU congregations have even broached doing that occasionally in our settings? We usually put it in the soulful sundown ghetto on Friday evening or something like that, right? But you know, and changing worship. How often have you changed worship within the past year? If worship has changed a lot, that category, 47% of those congregations are growing. No change or little change, 21%. So again, the fear that we have as Unitarian Universalists of, oh, we can't go there, we can't change, you know, we'd lose people. We can't do differing types of services. If we go to a second service, it has to be identical to the first service. Because we all have to experience the same thing. Otherwise, we're not part of the same community. We need to move beyond that. Most of the rest of the church world has. We haven't.
That's one of the cultural norms for us that I think is one of the strongest in limiting us, is the sense that coming out of our New England roots in smaller congregations, that sense of we all have to be in the same place at the same time and pretty much be in, you know, an agreement as how much we can be about everything that we're doing. Well, this isn't Republican democracy. It's more representative. So how do we exert leadership to show a different way of approaching this? We have, over the recent years especially, been in touch with a number of consultants who work in both mainline congregations and evangelicals and others. And one of the consultants who, wasn't it Carl Dudley, who said that that liberal religious congregations, which we are a part, mainline, are among the toughest places to bring changes into worship. And his sense is that our forms, our structures, become our center points because we don't have the creed. So what gives us our center point is the structure of our services and how we do things. So we feel additional challenge to making change in how we do things or how things are done here. And so he also supports that concept of changing that norm, changing that unwritten rule that things can't change, that we hold out, that we must hold out some sense of what are the shared values, our shared sense of purpose here, in order to give us the freedom to be in different ways together.